Hey guys, my name is Dr. Karmatsky and today we'll deal with all kinds of allergies. After watching this video you will know what to do, how to get rid of allergies without pills, hospitals and all kinds of tests and where it really comes from. Food allergies, contact allergies, odor, dust and pollen allergies. You need to understand the principle. Then everything will get clear. And it doesn't matter what kind of allergy and how it shows itself. The principle of action is the same, whether it's the skin rash, dermatitis, diathesis, urticaria, spring, pollinosis, snot, tears, sore throat, asthma or angioedema, or even anaphylactic shock to a bee sting or some exotic fish. I will tell you about three main causes that overlap 99% of allergy cases and the elimination of which gives excellent results. Let's start with the main reason that occurs most often. When something unpleasant happens to a person, some kind of stress, or you can say biological conflict or just conflict, the human brain at that very moment actively remembers everything around it. And the more intense the stress or conflict, the more and clearer remember it. What are your memories from childhood? Usually these are some kind of emotionally colored situations, so they crash into memory. For example, if a fire starts right now in this studio, heavy smoke, it's dangerous, scary, it's stress. What can I remember? The light of lighting devices, the time of day, the color of the wallpaper, the clothes of the cameraman, my clothes, the smell, what exactly the subconscious mind will capture at the time of the conflict, and what it will remember is an extremely subjective individual process. It can be anything: smell, sound, color, place and time, weather, atmospheric pressure, specific people or a specific place, animals, pollen in the air or other particles, such as carpet dust, food, the taste of some certain food that a person has recently eaten or is eating or thinking of eating, and so on. This is called a track, as a CD track that can be played over and over again, and every time a person encounters the track, the body immediately remembers that this track is associated with stress, which means there will be a response. So some kind of stress occurs, no matter what kind. It's important that it is unexpected, dramatic and isolated in perception. That means the person sticks in it and remains alone with it. Practical cases: the child walks in the park, drops his ice cream, tries to pick it up and eat it, and mother slaps his hands and shouts not to touch it. This is stressful for the child. At this moment, birch pollen or poplar wool is in the air. The child's body remembers that. And next year, having contact with pollen or cotton wool, he has a runny nose and tears. Next example: a person wants to go to college and loans money to pay for education, but it didn't work out, he lost money. Stress plus season. Next summer he has runny nose, lacrimation and sore throat. Next example: a man in his childhood ran over a kitten on a bicycle. Since then he has an allergy to cats and dogs. More example: the child lived in the village and there were mice running around the house and he was very scared. The child grew up, but the memory remained. Now in adult is allergic to hamsters, guinea pigs and rats, all who looks like a mouse. He gets rash, itching and blisters on the skin. Next example: mom and dad are fighting and cursing. The child is watching. It's stressful for him. It happens on a bright sunny day. Since then the child is allergic to the sun, so-called photokeratitis. The following group of similar examples: the child eats sweets, tangerines or apples, wants more and more, but parents don't give him. They strictly forbid him. It's stressful for a child. Next time when he eats again candy, tangerine or an apple or something else that has been associated with stress, he will have a rash, diathesis or something else, and it will be called food allergy. More example, a teenager is forced to wash dishes or wash clothes. Stress plus detergents. There will be an allergy to soap, shampoo, washing powder, and so on. Following example, a man works with a woman and there are a lot of carpets in the house. There will be an allergy to carpets. The following group of examples with all sorts of congenital allergies. A pregnant woman chooses clothes, a stroller and toys for her unborn child, swearing and fighting with her husband at the time. After birth, the child is allergic to plastic, rubber, clothing, and so on. Or, for example, a pregnant woman eats chicken with rice and swears with her mother. After birth, the child is allergic to chicken protein and rice. One more example. A woman is attacked by a man who reeks of alcohol. Since then, the combination of factors, closed space, man plus alcohol, gives edema quincke. In other words, a trach can be multi-component and only be triggered when certain factors are combined. Just a man is not a trach, just alcohol not a trach and give no reaction. Just the elevator or apartment trach doesn't work, and the combination of all three factors gives a reaction. If stress is frequent, then the number of trachs may increase over time. At first there was only strawberries, then apples were added, then pollen, then fish, and so on. Or at first the snot flowed only in March, then March plus April, then all spring and half summer, and so on. Or at first the allergy was to work, then also to the child, then also to the mother, then also to the neighbors. Well, you got the point. I can give you dozens of such examples. I constantly consult people with symptoms of an allergy and a stressful situation in which there was the same allergen is always detected, sometimes not immediately, but always. Sometimes it's very hard to remember, since the situation occurred in early childhood or even in utero, then you need to talk with mom and get information out of her. So what you need to do if you have an allergy? You need to find and understand the situation after which is all started. If the situation is no longer relevant and cannot be repeated, it's enough to simply realize that the situation has passed, it will never happen again, and the threat has passed forever. If the situation can be repeated, then you must either solve it once and for all, or leave it, or stop dramatically reacting on it. Or you can identify the situation and the trach, divide them, show the brain that the allergen is no longer related to the situation. Poplar wool is by itself and the school tests are by themselves, and they are not related to each other and don't affect each other. And from the fact that the wool flies in the air, we don't have to go and pass exams. For example, a person is allergic to strawberries because in childhood he was forced to work in the garden, including taking care of strawberry bushes. For him it was stressful. Now when buying strawberries at store, you need to say to yourself that someone else picked this strawberry, no one will force me to work in the garden, and now I am an adult and my parents will not kick my ass for this strawberry. Or for example, an allergy to cats. Child desperately wanted a cat, but it was not allowed. It's stressful. You need to say, now I live on my own and I decide all by myself how many cats to get, and no one will blame me for them. There are countless situations and scenarios telling you universal words what to think, what to say, what and how to do will fail. The main thing is to catch the principle of action and apply it specifically to your situation. Then everything will work out perfectly. Once there were parents with a child who is allergic to citrus fruits. He was once not given an orange, and that was the content of the conflict. I asked parents if the child will stay a couple of weeks in the mode of redness, snot, tears and swelling. You cannot react to this? but praise him for what's happening? Yes, we can. Great, then buy him 10 kilos of oranges and tangerines. Put them on the bed, under the bed, on the table and under the table. Fill the entire refrigerator with them. Tell him that he can eat all that oranges as much as he wants. They did everything as I told them to. Child quickly got full. The allergy went away completely in 6 days. No rash, no snot, nothing left. If the content of the conflict is opposite, too much of something against the will, then how much don't fit, it wouldn't get better. For example, a person is allergic to fish because he was forced to eat fish being a child. No matter how much you feed a person with fish, he will always have a reaction. You need to convince the person that no one will ever, under any circumstances, force him to eat that fish again. The conflict is resolved and the person begins to eat fish with pleasure. If the conflict is difficult to resolve, for example, a person hit a dog with a car, since then he has allergic to dogs, cats and other pets. How can I help? The first option, to promise yourself that I will never drive again. It's quite difficult. The second option, I will drive, but I will not go to roads where animals run. It's difficult to do since animals can jump out on the road anywhere. The third option, to become completely indifferent to car crashing of animals, well, is not an option at all. It would seem a dead end. The conflict is unsolvable. There are situations like this, which is normal, and in such situations you need to reduce the drama of the conflict as much as possible and remove the isolation. For example, you can go to an animal shelter and help several dogs. Knock it down one dog, but saved 5 puppies in the shelter. Already a good man, not a dog killer. You have to make it up to yourself in some other way. Each situation needs an individual approach. It's very important to remove the isolation of the conflict, to talk about incident, discuss it with close or understanding people. The main thing is that the person is not left alone with his problem. Okay guys, let's move on to simple and clear cases. According to statistics, about 2/3 of people in Europe, Russia, the United States, Japan and other developed countries are allergic to something, but in Africa, where people have nothing to eat, there is no personal hygiene, dirty water, have minimum percentage of allergies among children and adults. This fact makes you think, what is the reason? Stress is everywhere and in Africa as well. So there are still some factors that affect this process. Scientists agree that the reason is that in Africa everything is dirty but natural, which means that the human body doesn't react as it's something foreign, which must be fought or protested against. What about the developed countries? From birth, the child is surrounded by unnatural things and substances. The air is sterile, no natural bacteria, no breast given to a newborn, or had C-section and was carried away to the intensive care unit after vaccination, foreign protein. Everything around is treated with chemicals. After vaccination, foreign protein. Everything around is treated with chemicals. Furthermore, semi-chemical mixtures and complementary foods, plastic toys from China, synthetic clothing, rubber nipples, chemical shampoos and soaps, fruits and vegetables full of chemicals. Meat and dairy products stuffed with hormones and antibiotics. It turns out that the human body doesn't want to contact with an artificial world, thinks that is an attack, wants to protect itself, therefore the skin reacts. The body goes into defense mode, and then even harmless irritants are perceived aggressively. Therefore, with allergies of any type and any manifestation, skin rashes, tears, snot, sore throat, spring pollinosis and hay fever, I recommend to reduce the chemical load on the body as much as possible. The main load is food, is 16 feet of the intestine, and after absorption we constantly contact with refined semi-synthetic and chemical products, and body goes into defense. For the recovery period, I recommend removing all dairy, bread, yeast-free and whole grain as well, all kind of sweets and desserts. They are refined semi-synthetic products. Their absence makes life easier for the intestines, liver and lymphatic system for sure. What else can permanently irritate the intestines, liver and immune system cells? Parasites, of course. Practice shows sometimes a person takes antiparasitic sham and allergy go away. You can get herbal antiparasitic sham from my video Belgian Belly, how to get rid of it. Link in the description under the video. I remember a man who stopped having attacks of bronchial asthma after antiparasitic therapy. It's not always that simple, but sometimes could be. There is another great way to support and help your intestines, liver and lymphatic system. This is visceral massage or self-massage. If the intestines are well supplied with blood, if there are no spasms, if the lymphatic system, which is our internal sewers, works properly, if the liver breathes, filters and neutralizes chemicals coming out of food and medicine, then there are fewer allergic manifestations and they disappear easily. And now general recommendations that ease and relieve the recovery process no matter what kind of allergy you have and how it shows itself. Bath with salt. The solution should be 1%. This is about 1 kilo of the most common salt per 100 liters of water. Take bath the longer the better. Minimum 2 hours. Water gets cold, add salt. Pour hot water, refresh it. You can do it every day. A better solution, a trip to the sea. In fact, it's a huge natural bath with salt. Relax and stop contact with a stressful situation or trek. Although, if this trek bought a ticket and went with you, there will be an allergy to the sea as well. Bath, sauna, any warming up of the body. That speeds up any process of recovery and repair. Temporarily there may be slightly more symptoms as everything accelerated and inflammation too. Don't worry, you will get well soon. Air humidifier and air cleaner. Drinking water is an important factor so that lymph and blood can effectively perform cleansing work inside the body. They must be liquid and fluid. The more water you drink, the better the internal sewage system works. I advise to drink 1.5 to 2 liters of water per day during the period of symptoms. And finally, the lymphatic system itself. It happens that it's blocked and therefore doesn't work well. You need to stimulate the main lymphatic collectors in the chest. For home practice, any vibration effects with your hands or any simple vibration massager that shakes will be suitable. Like this, couple of minutes like this, and like this. Several times a day and the internal sewer system will work much better. And another recommendation, what to drink or eat, what's effective for treating allergies. Any quality multivitamins, lymph cleansing complex, any lymphatic drainage herbal collection, phytogemosorbents, choleretics for unloading the liver, any antioxidants, especially vitamins A, E, C, and other high-quality cleansing supplements and complexes from a manufacturer that you trust. Be sure to write in the comments how you cope with allergies. It may be useful to someone. Click something under this video. Be healthy. Bye everyone.